Okay, Ryan, let's get Ryan out here. Ryan Laul from OMG and Michael Lieberman from Kinetic. All right, yeah. Have a seat, gentlemen. I'm going to stand, but you guys can sit.
All right.
We're going to do a little bit of a wrap-up of the day here with these real out-of-home media buying specialists. These guys run their shops, COO, CEO, all of that, and a couple of smart guys. And I'd like to just kind of start with, what kind of turned you on today? What worked? What'd you like? What'd you find most interesting, Ryan?
Yeah, I think, not to be biased, but my McDonald's client, Anya, she was great. I really liked, everything, she made two really good points. One, she talked about there just being a ton of data out there. Obviously, McDonald's knows a lot about their business, all aspects of their business, and they know they have a ton of data, but it's how are they starting to use it? How are they starting to activate on it? How are they starting to add intelligence on top of that data? And I think that's, there's a good parallel there to the digital out-of-home world and the out-of-home world where historically, data and intelligence in the out-of-home space, it's kind of been a desert. And now we have a deluge of data. So we're, it's a big opportunity for us, but, it's also easy to mess up if we don't, add the right intelligence, if we don't.
Data's really a lot of the key.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I thought that part, and then I think, when she just talked about kind of putting everyone on notice and being, it's about attribution for them, and it's about accountability. And I think, kind of with the great power comes great responsibility, and now we're going to have to deliver, a much more different level of accountability in the out-of-home space and the digital out-of-home space, and I think we can do it. But I think brands are going to start looking for that.
OMG is prepared to do that. Excellent. It's good to hear. Michael.
I enjoyed something a lot of the day, but I think one of the more recent pieces that we just saw maybe a half hour ago, the Dunkin' Donuts example with Waze. Right? I come from a mobile background, so my heart's really in there and how we integrate mobile with out-of-home, whether it's exposure, whether it's partnership.
Turn his mic up a little bit. Yeah.
All good. Whether, basically how we bring this all together, right? I think, to where you were saying, we have the data, we are building the intelligence, which is different, right? It's one thing to have a set of facts, it's another thing to know how to use those in the right way, and I think we're building that as an industry, and you see the case studies today, and you'll see them in tonight and a lot of the examples at the award show. There's a lot that is building in the right way and in the right direction, but I really love the work together of mobile and out-of-home. And
you've got a lot of great personal experience in that running Juul before.
Yep.
Where you were a mobile executive.
That was where we first tried to put the two together and see how it could work. And
excellent.
It's really in the last couple of years that the mobile providers have welcomed out-of-home as a partner. And it's up to us to really prove it out and show that it can work.
Yeah, we call it a great love affair. Technologies, what's kind of excited you about what you heard and saw today in tech, and what do you think there?
Yeah, I think for us, we really look at technology in two ways. Obviously, data and how we're using data and platforms and how we're digesting and using that data. But then also, I think then we look at it as visual technology. So technology, screen technology, AR or VR, and how that's going to impact the space. I think we're a little bit further out. I think in a lot of cases in the digital out-of-home, the multiple environments we're in, I think VR is probably not really there. I think AR is probably something we can do, and probably something we can do sooner rather than later. Obviously with Apple and everything they're doing with the iPhone 10, and obviously AR being a big part of that. So it'll be exciting to see. It'll be exciting to see some brands kind of play around with it and see if we can generate some interesting case studies around that, and adding a different layer of creativity and engagement between a digital out-of-home network and potentially the mobile device.
Excellent. Michael?
Yeah. On that same topic, I'm maybe a little less bullish on the AR/VR ecosystem. And if you go all the way back to this morning when Rob Norman was on stage and talking about sort of the Google, Facebook duopoly in those groups, who's going to own the AR platforms that actually get this out in front of people, right? Because if it's, take them out of the equation, if it's Snapchat, well, how much money do you need to pay to get access? And if anyone read the story about the artist who tried to theoretically vandalize a Snapchat AR installation in Central Park, no one really saw it. Made for great press.
Right.
But you had to find out on your own how to download the artist app to get there. And
so we really need scale on these things too.
We need scale, but we need open platforms. If one or two partners control access to that, on one hand it's great scale, but what you do as a brand is going to be influenced solely by what those platforms enable. I think the work that we're doing as an industry in dynamic, and we had a fantastic United program where if anyone's been around New York and seen the taxi tops,
great.
With how long it takes to get to Newark versus JFK, there's really smart applications of data that are not necessarily your standards that can show up in different formats, and that's pretty exciting.
That's a great campaign. I mentioned that in my opening speech as a shining example. Shining
Shining
Lieberman.
examples.
Tell me what shines, Michael, at Kinetic. What are you guys doing that's kind of innovative and exciting and pushing the envelope today?
I think a lot. We're looking at an ecosystem where, not even that many years out, we're looking at cities that are becoming not just smarter but responsive, that are feeding information to consumers, and consumers are interacting with cities in different ways. We're looking at a lifestyle now where only maybe 2 or 3 years that you don't get frustrated trying to wait for a web page to load up on your phone, and you're actually transacting and buying and getting all your information, and home and office are no longer home base, so you don't have to wait to get back to home base to conduct the transactions. So consumer behavior has moved to a place where out-of-home is far more relevant than it's ever been. The out-of-home technology is moving to that same place, and what we've done is we've developed our framework, shameless plug, Active Journeys, which is all about how to take those consumer behaviors in this new landscape and apply data and measurement intelligently when it comes to the out-of-home space. Again, I think we're still at the point where you need that human intelligence. I don't think digital programmatic and out-of-home programmatic are destined to be the same thing. So it's how do you apply that to these new behaviors in a new landscape to get what you need to get for your brands.
Makes sense. Brian, what's exciting going on in OMG, or part of OMD, or part of Omnicom?
It's a lot of acronyms. I think we're all about going beyond the poster, going beyond the billboard, and really driving dynamic campaigns for our clients. It's about really understanding environment. It's about understanding context. It's using data to not only inform location decision making, but also to inform creative decision making. And I think when we can be, use that and be a lot more contextually relevant with the messaging, we're going to see a better product on the streets. The clients are going to see more effective campaigns, and it's ultimately just going to drive, a much more. It's going to drive a stronger, path for the industry. So, for us, it's really about working with our clients. And right now, there's no magic bullet for data or technology in the out-of-home space. So where we find ourselves, it's exciting for us because we're able to do a lot of. We're able to work with a lot of different partners and come up with custom approaches where we're using multiple forms of data, whether it be mobile audience data or panel data, or anything else to figure out, a whole host of different, opportunities, for our clients and their campaigns. And I think that's exciting. And it'll be interesting to see where that shakes out, and which of those players will start to rise to the top and start to drive more scale in that space.
Excellent. Good. We're going to have you guys sit here for closing comments. Is that all right? You guys look very comfortable. You're kind of smart guys. It's with guys like you driving the industry, I think we're bound for some good future and some good future growth. So really appreciate your salient and focused comments. Thank you.